Welcome everyone, it's Deborah Baker here in the sunny Costa Blanca in Spain with another video, this time making these lovely tree pendants. And make sure to stay tuned to the second half of this video where I show you how to make these next two lovely pendants, so I think you're going to like it. Now these are made in a mould using copper wire. If you want to see how, keep watching. I have my mould ready. They've been lined with kiln wash, and for the first pendant we're going to add this clear medium frit as the background, so we can see through both sides of the pendant. We'll be able to see all the way through it and compare the front and the back, decide which we like the best. And for the second one, I thought we'd have a white opaque background. So we're going to use this white opal fine frit. And I'm not adding too much because I don't want a really thick pendant. So I've got some green frit here. Again, this was a nice free gift when I ordered some glass from someone. And I'm going to put this along the bottom, create the effect of grass. And then you want to create your tree. So the challenge with this is just trying to keep it small enough to fit in the centre without sticking out the edges of the glass. So this is 0.3 millimetre. Normal copper wire that you get for any jewellery making. You could use 0.4, 0.5 millimetre, it'd just be a thicker branches and a thicker tree. So we just need it to be slightly bigger than whatever you're going to put it in. And you need about, depending on what type of tree you want to do, about 12. Bearing in mind this is going to make the branches and the roots. So I've cut 12 lengths, which is going to give me 12 branches, which I think is enough. If you want more branches, cut more lengths. And this is fairly simple. What you're going to do, you've probably seen it on the internet before. We're basically going to create the trunk, which we're going to twist, whichever way you want to twist it. So just twist them all around like that. You don't need it too high. Make it a bit gnarly if you want to. And then you're going to spread out your branches and your roots. And there's no right or wrong way of doing this, just do it for whatever effect you want. So I'm going to group some of mine together to start off with, because that's what a tree is like. They don't all sprout out from the trunk into thin branches. You have thicker branches twisting out, so create a few of those. And I'm just going to twist those two a little bit together just to make them a bit different. Then I'm going to split them out. Bearing in mind you want to get the maximum effect of the branches before you have to cut them off. So I'm just going to untwist that a little bit, it's gone a bit high, because you'll be wanting to cut them a little bit shorter. And then your roots, if you want roots, big roots, little roots, whatever you want. So for the roots, I tend to twist it a little bit more and then untwist it, and that gives you a nice kink in the roots. So I'm just kinking my branches slightly as they would be in nature. Okay, and then you've got to trim it down to fit. So I'm going to take that right down because I want to get the effect of the branches at the top. In fact, my trunk is a little bit long, so I'm going to shorten this down a bit by unravelling it a little bit. And you'll always find you do it too long. The times I've done this, I always do it too long. But that's worked well because it's given me nice wiggly roots. That's about right. So now it's got to have a big chop. Basically just keep trimming and trying it in your shape until you're happy that it fits in nicely. Now I'm just going to take those down a little bit more because I don't want them right to the edge. I mean, it doesn't matter if they poke through the edge of your piece, but it would be nice to get a bit of glass around the edges. Cute little tree. You are beautiful. And okay, so and I'm just going to make one for the other side and then I'll be right back. Right, so we've got the two trees there, and this is where you can go to town really and do whatever you want. You can put colours in to have like a sunset background. You could do other little things in with the copper wire, little animals or whatever. You don't have to have trees, do you? You can have flowers, all sorts of options. Here I've got some cherry blossom frit that I bought a while ago, ready mixed. So I'm just using that. This is the one with the white background. I'm just using that on here to create a little cherry blossom tree. You could do a winter tree with just nothing on it, maybe a bit of snow. You could do an autumn tree with just leaves on. It doesn't have to have cherry blossom or anything on it. Now the other one, the other side, I've got a little bit of an experiment I'm going to do with that, which, as you know, I like to do my experiments. And I haven't tried this, I haven't done these already. I've done similar ones, but I haven't done the same. I do it as I make the videos, really, so you see the mistakes along with me as I make them. And we learn together. So, got some I've had for ages. I didn't buy it for this. I bought it when I was making metal clay, fine silver frit. And the other thing that you could use, that I thought I would show you that I've got here, are these copper balls. Again, that you buy to go in with your silver clay jewellery, I believe, which you could put in. Obviously, I'm not going to put those in there because they're a bit heavy, but if you thought of a design to use those, you could do. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of this fine silver frit in to add a bit of sparkle, hopefully, but I'm not going to put a lot in case it doesn't. And have some bright canary yellow frit here, which I'm going to put in there as well. And you could add maybe some mica. I've got a mica mix there, which is the silver and the copper together. Mica does tend to clump sometimes, so just use it sparingly if you wanted to add a little bit of glitter to your piece. So we'll just add a bit in there, just see how it comes out. Another bit of an experiment. I'll only put it on that one, I think. And we need to put some more green grass down because obviously that's behind the roots, and we want a little bit over the top of the roots as well. So we're giving a hint of what it's like behind. And in fact, I could use some of this green up here with the yellow. A few green leaves as well. That was a nice fine bit there. Right, so this one you're going to see from the back as well as the front, so you're going to be able to choose which way round you want it when it's done. In case you don't see enough of the branches, this has got a opal back, so you're not going to be able to see this from the back. And then we need to cover it in clear. And normally when I make these pieces, I put bigger pieces on top because you get less bubbles, the air can get out, rather than having lots of frit on there. So I think that's what I'm going to do now. And I also need to make sure that it's 6mm, because what you don't want to happen is for it to shrink in. So you do need to make sure it's 6mm thick, or it's going to be 6mm thick by the time you're finished. Bearing in mind that frit compacts and shrinks a lot when it's fused, so there is very little in there. It might look like there's a couple of millimetres in there, but by the time it's melted it'll be less than that. So here's where your scrap comes into play, and I always keep all my scrap, and I have used a lot of this recently, so if I find that I haven't got enough pieces there to do this, I'll just go and break some of that up. And this is the therapeutic bit, I think. If you were to cut, you're probably thinking, why don't I just cut a shape and put that on? If you do that, you will create bubbles because there's nowhere for the air to escape. By using little pieces like this on top, the air can escape, so you get less bubbles. You could always fire on a bubble squeeze, of course, but this is an alternative. So a big piece would cause bubbles, and very small pieces of frit would cause bubbles as well because they're going to trap the air. But these bigger pieces are like an in-between stage. There's no real right or wrong way of putting these in either. You just need to make sure you've got plenty in and that you cover most of the area. Once you've got your big bits in, you can infill with some smaller bits to make sure that there's plenty around the edges. So I'm just going to finish off putting the glass in as necessary on this, and then I'm going to put it in the kiln on a full fuse. These are out of the kiln now. Let's have a look at them. Ow, that was a bit spiky. Okay, yes. Nice. Obviously they generally do tend to be a little bit spiky when they come out of in a mould. So I'm just going to slightly grind that around the edges and put it back in on a tack fuse, or fire polish, sorry. And yeah, lovely little tree. Same with this one. They're going to look completely different once they've been in the grinder. Perhaps could have done with slightly more glass in there. So they've come off the grinder. You can see there where I've ground them down. This is the one with the white background. That's going to go in now for a fire polish, and it's the one with the clear background. In fact, the back looks nicer because we've got those are the little silver frit that I put in and they've sunk to the bottom. We could fire it that way, in which case that would become smooth. So there's a decision. I could have sprinkled some on top of the green actually, didn't think of that. So what do we think? What shall we do? That way up or the other way up? Okay, I think I'm going to keep it the original way up. So they've come out of the fire polish and they're lovely. I'm really liking those. I know I say it with everything, but I'm just, they're so cute, picturesque, pretty. I've just got a little bit of the wire sticking through there, so I'm just going to just grind that, just the wire bit slightly. I don't want to damage the glass again because obviously it's just been in for a fire polish. And this is the one on clear, and the same with that. There's just a little bit of the, you can see a little bit of the branch coming through, but yeah, shame all the silver sank on there. You can see it slightly through there, obviously you can see it more that side, but I think I do prefer this side. And there they are, finished with the bails on them. The silver filings with the copper actually had a bit of a reaction. We've got a bit of glass reaction there unintendedly, and I never thought, and have created a rather grey, if you can see, a grey area, which actually isn't too bad because it does look like different coloured blossom. Actually different coloured blossom, very interesting. I'll have to try the silver with the copper again and see what happens. But yes, got a bit of a reaction going on there. So that's done. And I thought it'd be nice to have two with scenic backgrounds as well. So I've already prepared my trees going, and the first thing I'm going to do is pop a clear base in to work from. So I'm not going to have a white base on this because I want to create the effect of sunny skies and a nice sunset maybe. So this one here, I've got some red opal powder and some yellow, canary yellow fine frit. I just happen to have these. I just bought a pack of some a while ago. So just use, you know, what you have lying around. And I've got a bit of mixed copper and silver mica here, which is going to add a bit of sparkle. And also I'm going to add some bits of Dichroic, some of my scrap bits of Dichroic. But first of all, we're going to have a bit of grass in. So again, I'm going to use this green frit that I've got here, which came out quite nicely. And I'm going to try and make some stripes for the sunset. Stripy red sky. This is very, very bright red when it fires, this red opal. It'd have been better with a bit of yellow powder, but I haven't got yellow powder, so I'm just going to use this sparingly because this is a bright yellow. I'm just going to spread that out a bit so that the lines are less defined. And then I'm going to sprinkle on the mica. And just going to add a few pieces of broken Dichroic that I've got here. To put in a few silvery streaks in there too, to break that up a bit. Now that the tree will fire a lot darker, so hopefully it's going to stand out against the backdrop. And I'm just going to add a little bit more brass on the top. And a few, not many, a few little leaves on here because I don't want to detract too much from the sunset. And I want to give that grass a straight line. I think this one will do with a bright blue sky behind it. So I've just found a little piece of glass here. I've added that to create like a hill in the background. And then for the sky I've got two lots of frit here. One is turquoise blue transparent, fine, and this one is light cyan opal, so that's not transparent. And I'm going to use mainly the transparent because I want to create the effect of sky, but I'm just going to add a little bit of the opal in and a little bit of white to create the effect of maybe clouds. But in any event, just to break it up a little bit. I'm hoping that they're not going to stand out too much, the thick opal ones. I don't want them to appear just like dots. So maybe I'll clump them together, put little clumps of them in, just to create the effect of a more dense area of sky. You could add a sun, I guess, a hint of the sun. Don't put the wrong lids on the wrong ones like I've just done, or you'll end up messing up a piece. Putting transparent on where you want opaque and opaque on when you want transparent. And I've got some little bits of Dichroic because you can't beat a bit of Dichroic in your pieces. And I'm just going to add some of my Dichroic frit on top of that. My little bits that I save, just to give it a bit of bling. Hopefully don't get any really strange colours out of these. And a sprinkling of opaque white, I think, to break it up a little bit. The effect of clouds. I'm going to struggle, actually I'm going to bend that because I need to get a bit of grass on top of the roots, and at the moment that's sticking up over the hump of that, so just bring that down a bit. And there we go, bit more grass. I think we'll have some little yellow blossom on there, being it's a nice bright day. Let's make out it's spring. And we've got some lovely yellow blossom on the tree. So this is quite funny, because I live in Spain. I very often, there's not a great choice of Dichroic glass here, so I very often get it posted to me, but whenever someone's coming over from the UK that I know, I get the glass ordered and they bring it over for me. And this one person, I ordered a big sheet of clear on thin. I said, can take it out of the box that it comes in if you want, just make sure it's well padded, so it takes up less room in your case. And they did, but it wasn't padded enough, and it ended up pretty much half of it in bits like this. But it's okay, because I broke up most of my glass anyway, so I wasn't too bothered. But it was just funny, and actually helped me out. So it's pretty much broke up anyway, but I just need to break it up a little bit more. So when you've got your pieces, you can start to put them in your moulds. Okay, into the kiln. So these have come out of the kiln. I did them on a full fuse. Let's have a look at them. Very sharp edges on these, you have to be so careful. So I'm going to go just have a quick look at them now, and I'm going to go and grind the edges off. And they're pretty much in shape anyway, but I'm just going to shape them nicely, and then we can look a little bit closer at them. Okay, I'm so excited with these. You can probably see where I've ground it around there, but you can still see the design and the colours. It is like a gorgeous evening sunset with the tree in the front. And even if you turn it on the back, okay, that's a bit rough where it's been on the shelf. If I fired it that way down, that would smooth out, become glass-like, and even that is nice because it's giving the hint of the trunk and the branches and showing more of the, they actually look like leaves now. It looks like it's autumn and you've got the yellow and the orange leaves on there as opposed to the sunset. So it can be nice either way, but I'm going to keep it this way because I love the way that that trunk's gone, and it's actually gone a lovely deep brown, like mahogany coloured brown, so that's quite nice. So all in all, that is a lovely pendant. This one, completely different colours to that one, completely different environment. That's more of an autumn sunset. This is more getting on towards late summer night, I would say, with the blue of the sky behind and the leaves on the tree. Very interesting. And then that is it. The other side, we couldn't turn this the other way because we created that little mountain at the back and that's blotting half the tree out. But I do like the idea of having these on clear so that you can choose whichever side that you want. I'll show you them when they've been fire polished. So they've come out from the fire polish. So if I put that on there, you can see there's still some clear bits in there, which is really enhances the piece. There we go. So they're the 4 final pieces together. These, because we put a lot more colour and a lot more effort into them, are, let's say they're different to the ones above, but they're all equally nice in their own way. You don't want everything the same, do you? Well, I don't. I get fed up and like to do something different. Anyway, these two have, because I did these previously, I've got the bales on them. These two I've yet to put the bales on. If you want to see how I choose my bales, please watch video 3. And then also how I glue on my bales is a full video in video 11. This is what these will look like anyway with the bales on. Just to give you an idea, although you'll see from the final photos on the video. But there you go anyway. So thank you again for joining me for this video. Thank you everyone who's subscribed to my channel and liked the videos, shared them, etc. I will try and post on the Facebook groups that I'm uploading this video, and I hope you're able to join me for the next video. I'm hoping you'll find equally as exciting. I find making pendants, for me, it's always exciting. I love it. And there are so many old techniques that have been around for a long time. Show you ones that can be adapted and lots of new techniques. And I have got a mind full of ideas of things I haven't done myself and ones that I have done myself, and I would like to share them with you. So till next time, bye for now.